Hello again, YouTube. Part 2 of this thing that I'm talking about. I repositioned for slightly better lighting. So as I was saying, this kid sent me these messages, was sort of trying to be like, well, why don't you love? God is important. And again, it was all of this like, well, I know his whole basis of evidence was, well, I know there's a God. I know there's an afterlife. So the last thing that he sends me after I said like I'm really done with this conversation because it's not going anywhere and I don't need to waste my time. It was at the point where he was asking me what I meant by evidence, and I was like, I can't. I'm not going through. I'm not giving you a crash course in scientific method. Like if you're genuinely interested, there's plenty of videos. There's plenty of resources. Go look it up. Like that was when I realized that this was really just again it just wasn't going anywhere, and I said that to him. So then he sent me a sort of final little like, well, the only reason I want to talk about this is because I'm very worried about you. This is a person that completely doesn't know me, that doesn't is only knows me from my YouTube channel and the conversation that we had. Which again, any actual questions that he asked, I think I gave some really decent, um, you know, explanatory answers. Like I in the least, uh, I tried to make it as clear and concise as I could, and I think I did a pretty good job of that. Of explaining why I just don't. Some people just don't believe in these things. So the whole, well, I'm worried about you, and this isn't the first time I've gotten this from a theist, and I'm sure there's a lot of atheists who out there who get this a lot, and I just find it so insulting. There is just not another word for it. It's insulting. My beliefs, my thoughts and opinions on the whole issue of God have come from years of thought and investigation and reading the books and reading the books on the books and listening to other people's opinions on both sides, listening to debates on both sides, but again, bottom line, personal reflection. That's what it comes down to. What do I believe and why? And when somebody else who doesn't know you in any just says, well, you know, I'm worried because I know better, I'm very worried about you. I'm worried about your eternal soul because I know that there's a God and I know. And it's like, well, why do you know these things? And they can't, and that's the thing. For somebody who has no way of explaining to me what they think is true in terms of not things that they've been fed by their particular religion, it's just absurd to me how they can then turn around and say to a perfect stranger, well, I'm worried about you because clearly I know more about these things than you. And it's like, for those theists out there, you don't necessarily know more about these things. I always go back to a particular story that a friend of mine told me about two Mormon boys coming to his house and him asking them direct questions concerning the Mormon faith because he's read the Book of Mormon. He's aware of the different um, practices and was asking these kids direct questions. Kids that were supposed to be out spreading the faith, and they could not answer them. They had no idea what he was talking about, and he was talking about very specific parts of their own belief system. It is so it gets me really angry because it there's this arrogance to it that it's just like you don't know who I am or why I believe the things that I believe. And it's insulting to the time it took for me to come to this conclusion. And I said to him, I was like, if you have some brilliant evidence that you can show me, show it to me, and maybe I'll change my opinion. I doubt it, but maybe, if it's convincing. And he didn't have any. But I know. It's the whole know fallacy. Well, I just know because I feel it. That's not evidence. That is not, that there's no way you're demonstrating anything by that. You could say, I know there's a God, in the same way I could say, I know there's a pineapple where my small intestine should be. And not that I've had any x-rays done, but I just know it's there. I just know, because I feel it. Not like physically feel it, like I could feel the stalks poking me, but I just know that there's a pineapple. I don't have any small intestine, just a pineapple. It's ludicrous to me. And again, it's just like, how do you talk to another human being like that? How do you just completely disregard how that person, what that person, and again, this was a person who I asked directly, give me some reason that you believe in this, and all he did was quote scripture at me, and I was like, no, don't say anything about the Bible. You haven't established it enough to go there yet. And it's just, I worry about kids like that, you know? Because, I just, it's like, figure out take some time to think about these things. I've thought about them. And I said to him, because I established that when I was 15 was when I started, really thinking about these things. And I stopped going to church with my parents. I started going to church, to a different church with some other friends. And really started to mull over the idea of, could all of this be wrong? Could all of this be, just like a group fantasy? Like, what is it? What is the nature of this thing? And after, almost 10 years of thought and personal reflection, I've come to this position. And like I said, it's coming from a skeptical, critical thinking kind of place. That if there was some evidence, if somebody was able to demonstrate that these things could possibly be, who knows? But nobody has. And so I'm sticking with the disbelief position. And, don't presume to know me. And don't be condescending and arrogant enough to tell me that I'm in some sort of danger because of the way that I think. Because honestly, a God that would punish somebody for thinking isn't one that I want to be involved with anyway. But maybe I need to do another video about specifically why the Judeo-Christian God is not anybody I would personally want to be involved with, if such a thing could exist. But maybe we'll leave that for later. Alright, YouTube, PamAnnJett signing off.